Broadcast Advisor of the Year, the second, is Don Goble. In his 10th year at Ladue Horton Watkins High School in St. Louis, Missouri, Don Goble was the broadcast technology, film and multimedia instructor directly at the television station, LHS-TV, and he is the advisor to the multimedia website, lhstv.weebly.com, and the main Ladue School District video producer. His Twitter feed is on fire. He represents the broadcast strand at all the JEA Summer Advisor Institutes and writes articles for www.jeadm.org on a consistent basis. Rather than keep his work a precious secret for himself, Don is enthusiastic about sharing his ideas and his experiences with others. In 2014 alone, Don was a JEA Distinguished Broadcast Advisor, a lead PBS digital innovator, and one of 360 educators selected from around the world, which included 31 countries, to attend the 20th anniversary Apple Education Global Summit. Now, Don, you are the 2015 JEA Broadcast Advisor of the Year, and you get the podium.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Stacy. I appreciate it. Thank you. I am so excited to be here. I think we should all sing the First Amendment. That was already done. All right, we won't do that. Thank you very much. I am thoroughly honored to be here, and I need to start out by saying that this award is about my students, and it's about valuing and validating scholastic broadcast journalism. Michael Hernandez was an excellent representative to be the first, and I couldn't be more proud to follow in his footsteps now to talk about the importance of what we teach. I do want to give a shout out to my JEA fan club right over there. Thanks for supporting me today. So, I'm going to tell you some stories today, basically what I'm going to do, because I believe you might not believe a word I say unless I tell you some stories. So I'm going to tell you the story of me, and through that, hopefully, a few things might resonate. So when I was growing up, my folks were divorced when I was 2. And so my mother worked 2 jobs, and many times my babysitter was the television. So I never could have imagined that watching Different Strokes and Silver Spoons could lead me to teaching broadcasts on a national level. But it did. And that's another thing I want to talk about eventually today, too, is opportunity. And the opportunities that I've been given, especially now for this award, so I must thank a few people. First, the JEA. Obviously for supporting broadcast journalism, but for supporting scholastic journalism in general. And my introduction to JEA a few years ago, and just welcomed with open arms. And there's no place I would rather be than to come to these conventions and the Institute in the summer, and the relationships that I have now globally with all of you. I also need to thank Lindenwood University, who sponsors this award, and the Dean of School of Communications, Mike Wall, Associate Professor of Communications and Chair Department of Journalism, Jill Falk. Lindenwood stepped up and said, we value broadcast journalism, and we believe that this should be recognized on a national level. I also need to thank my school, Ladue School District. They hired me 10 years ago to take over a broadcast class, and they allowed me to plant some seeds and now have a program that we have today. I also need to thank my family, Emily, who helped me through my transition from the business world into teaching and supported that, and my best friend in the entire world, my now 9-year-old son, Terry, teaching him the correct ways of the world with video. And he's been a tremendous, tremendous influence in my life. That's the best job I think I'll ever have, is being a dad. I do want to talk a little bit about multimedia, because broadcast is much greater than just video. And so that's really where I've been able to grow as an advisor, particularly being involved with the JEA, and being able to expand beyond broadcast video and enter the online world and print, because I live and I breathe the philosophy of media. And to me, that philosophy is every choice I make is with intention. There are things that happen by accident, and I'll share a few of those with you today. And in those moments, unexpected opportunities arise. But the things I can't control are decided with a definitive purpose and message. And my words and intention today will be no different. I contacted a longtime CBS videographer, producer, and friend of mine, Les Rose, because I wanted to get his opinion, because I like to try and model my program after the pros. And so I asked Les, I said, Les, what's the importance of multimedia broadcast? And why are news agencies putting the video at the top of the page on a lot of online sources now? Les was very wise and said, well, the importance is threefold. First, the video takes you there. You are a front row witness to history or a great feature storytelling. Through sound and great pictures and excellent writing, in the case of edited stories, you are able to be there. Secondly, he said, it's a shared human experience, as if we were all there together to see the triumphs and the tragedy. Third, the reason that the videos are at the top of the page, Les told me, is probably innate curiosity. What is this? And then they click on the video. And that's the type of curiosity I want my students to exhibit and then try to tell stories, to have people say, what is this? Before I move on, in the essence of this talk today, I'd like to ask you all just to reflect back for a moment and think of somebody who has impacted you. Somebody who gave you an opportunity or supported you in a way that was either unexpected or when you really needed it. Maybe when you didn't even ask for it. And where would you be without that opportunity or the support? Because for me, big life-changing ideas and opportunities have rarely first appeared as big life-changing opportunities and ideas. So I'm going to tell you a little bit a story about opportunity and some individuals professionally who helped me. These individuals have supported me in ways that wouldn't make today possible had it not been for their efforts. The first person I would like to thank is Deborah Clevens. Deborah offered me my first real opportunity in education when she was going to be on maternity leave. And I was going to take over her leadership in yearbook class. I had never looked at a yearbook other than my own. But Deborah said, take it and make it yours. I will be there. I'll be there by phone, by email. I will help you through this. You'll be awesome. Take it and make it yours. And we fumbled through it, but by the end of that, she advocated for me to the building principal to be a permanent building substitute while I went back to school to be certified. It was the perfect job where I could coach, be in the educational environment, and that would not have happened had it not been for Deborah's advocacy and her belief in me and to just take it and make it mine. So thank you. Martina Davidson, in the glasses there on the left, she is my partner in crime. She runs our video technology center. She team teaches a lot of classes with me. And the kids joke that she is the glue that keeps our program together, and it's true because she is. She's the silent, calm voice while I'm the crazy guy running around the lab. And her talents are immense, and she has made me a better person and educator. This guy right over here, Dave Davis, who for a long time I modeled my program from afar. Dave didn't even know it. When I got hired, one of my first goals was I wanted to make this a program. So I wanted to find a program that I could model mine after. And I stumbled upon Dave, thank God, in HTV magazine. And I said, that's what we need to do, guys. And I've been fortunate enough now over the years to get to know Dave personally as well. And I congratulate you, Dave, today on your honor. Carol Lang, right there in the front. Carol was actually my very first introduction to JEA back in St. Louis in 2009. I was not affiliated or a member, but she called me up when the JEA convention was coming to St. Louis and said we had an advisor not be able to make it. We heard he's doing a camera on a low budget session. We heard maybe you could do that. Would you be interested? And I said, absolutely. So I went downtown and I brought my students with me and I had the itch. I had the bug. And I said, who is this group? Who's this JEA? What are they all about? And it got me thinking, and it got me introduced to the JEA, and had it not been for that call from Carol, and whatever advisor that was that wasn't able to show up, I thank him or her. Aaron Manfold. Huge props to Aaron Manfold. Again, Michael and I would not have been standing here last year if it had not been for Aaron, with the vision to support broadcast advisors and students. And he went out and he saw it and he found Lindenwood University. and the creator of the JEA digital media site. Over 85,000 page views and over 50,000 visits in the last 6 months alone. And I'm a proud contributor to that. And Aaron has made that happen for us and that opportunity. So Aaron, I thank you. Kelly Furness and Mark Newton for their leadership and acceptance of broadcast journalism and of me personally. They've been nothing but welcoming. And I've been a part of other scholastic organizations. And I left those because I didn't really fit in. And I didn't trust the leadership. And from day one, I felt nothing but trust and respect with these two guys. And so I thank you. Sarah Nichols. Sarah, you probably don't even realize this, but the amount of things I've stolen from you as it pertains to leadership and staff leadership, I instituted a whole thing I learned from you last summer at the Institute, and I don't think it's any secret or coincidence that our program has had one of the most successful in our time together because I've instituted those things that you preach and that you bring to your students. So I thank you. Matt Raz, I thank you, my man. You know, Matt Raz and I, we constantly talking about running a program, what to do with video, venting about our kids, laughing. I'm a huge fan of his podcast. I just think Matt is amazing. And again, I thank you for the opportunity to work with you, and as you have welcomed me. Gabby Herbst. Gabby is a print advisor, yearbook advisor from Beverly Hills High School. And here's one of the great things about JEAs. I met Gabby in San Antonio. And her experience of print really pushed me to start incorporating more of that into my program. And through that, she supported my students remotely. She'll edit and check their work. And she'll meet with them at conventions. But more importantly than that, the friendship that I've been able to build now with Gabby is immense. And had it not been for this organization, I would have not had the opportunity to meet Gabby and develop that relationship. So thank you. Michael Hernandez, the reigning advisor of the year. Michael is a true change agent. He is a visionary. He is a leader. He's courageous. And he brings that to his students. I want to be Michael when I grow up. I aspire to be that. And I truly respect our friendship and I appreciate it. You know, when I was growing up as well, I wanted to be the next Bob Costas. I really did. I thought, you know, I was going to be in radio, TV. I just respected his ability to transcend sports and news. But the problem was, I was a 2.6 grade point average student. You have those kids in your class right now. It's thoroughly ironic that I am teaching high school because I hated high school. I hated it with a passion and I could not wait to get out. And now here I am. And maybe there's a truth to that in that I'm trying to give a better experience than I had. But don't give up on these 2.6 kids because they may not have developed a work ethic yet. They had the passion, but they didn't quite figure it out yet. So I spent some time in radio and television in high school. Our high school had it. Spent some time in college running our radio station, and I had an opportunity, went to college to play baseball, got hurt. So I had an opportunity to broadcast the games. Awesome opportunity through injury. So I got hired right out of college by a local radio station. 3 days out of college, I'm working. Now, I was hired to be a producer, and the station manager said, Don, you are behind the scenes. I know you want to be on the air, but you have a nasally Chicago accent. 6 months at least, you're not going to be talking on the air. But I'm going to give you some ideas. So here, take these scripts home every day, read in the mirror, and do, practice some of these techniques. So I did, and a lot. 2 weeks into the job, my station manager came in and said, we had a couple guys fall ill. I need you to temporarily go on the air until I can call somebody else in. So I went on the air. I never gave it back up because I was prepared and I was ready. And I was given an opportunity. I didn't want to lose it. When I was interviewing for jobs, I can't tell you how many administrators I had say, good luck finding a broadcasting job. They don't exist. You're going to have to teach English. You're going to have to probably teach forensics or theater. They don't exist. Good luck finding one. Fortunately, I found one with Ladue, and they gave me an opportunity. To this day, the most significant moment in my life was when my father, who was my best friend, had a massive heart attack when he was 52 years old. I was 25. And through some very bizarre and dysfunctional family dynamics and drama, I was left with the decision whether or not to have him remain on life support. I never forget that moment any day of my life. My dad was a strong guy. He was a drill sergeant in the Army. He would not have wanted to live that way, so we removed him from the life support. And an interesting thing happened that day. At the time, I was in sales, and my dad was a salesman, and he always said, I will kill you if you ever get into sales. Don't do it. And here I was doing it. He passed away miserable as a salesperson, and now here I was. It was at that moment I decided I could no longer be a boy. I needed to be a man, and I needed to make a change. And it was at that point I knew I wanted to get into education. The greatest opportunity I'm excited to share with you today is about my students. I create high expectations for them, and I maintain them. I try to help them realize they can accomplish so much more than they ever imagined. I hold greater expectations for them than they have for themselves. And they get mad at me for it sometimes. And that's when I know it's working. Because the funny thing happens is they not only typically meet them, they exceed them. And so my students take initiative of their own learning. That is our culture. We treat each other like professionals. And we support each other. And we don't teach a class, we teach a production. So I'm going to share a few success stories with you. Ben, right there where the yellow arrow is pointing to. My first year I came in, Ben was our editor of the show that had existed before I got there. And he had edited it for 3 years. So I came in with a whole new set of expectations, though, because it was potty humor. Nobody watches it, Mr. Goble. This is just, we want to just have fun with it. I said, no, here are the expectations. 3 days later, he came in with a drop slip for my class. I said, I don't want to do that. I said, that's fine. Class freaked out. Who's going to edit the show? I said, we'll find somebody else. It's an opportunity for somebody else. Ben now went on to college and now travels for the New York Times and Wall Street Journal all over the world. He was waiting for Edward Snowden right there a few years ago. Right about that time, he sent me an email and he said, Mr. Goble, I'm sure you remember me. It's Ben Solomon. Yeah, Ben. He said, I'm sorry. I didn't know what you meant then, but I know now. To Jeremy. Jeremy came in and took my class for credit. He thought it was cool to interview the bus driver in this particular scene. But a funny thing happened with Jeremy is he got the bug, went on to New York's film school, and is now winning Emmys for PBS. All for taking it for credit. To Abby. Abby's another classic example. Signing up for a class, practical art credit. Showed a lot of promise on the air. Decided she wanted to pursue it. Dad and Mom tried talking her out of it. College counselor, when it came to looking for colleges, trying to talk her out. You're not going to find college scholarships for broadcast. It's not going to happen. What's your backup? Well, she found Ithaca University in the Park Scholar Program. All expenses paid, $40,000 a year, graduated in 4 years. But a funny thing happened with Abby. She's not in the business. She wrote to me now and said, Mr. Goble, I took those team building and collaborative skills, and I'm now taking teenagers through the wilderness of Wyoming, teaching them life skills. That's pretty cool. To awkward Danny, who loved being on camera. Here's the great story about Danny. So Danny went on to Mizzou's J School. He was working the graveyard shift, 12 to 6 on radio. Getting off, program director for TV's walking in, sees Danny and his producer and says, hey, I need to talk to you two. Has anyone ever produced a news package before? We need somebody bad. We're down on reporters today. The one kid's like, I'm a sophomore. I haven't even taken classes yet. And Danny said, well, yeah, I'm a sophomore too, but yeah, I did news packages in high school. I can do that for you. Program director was like, take it. It's yours. Go do it. Danny never forfeited that spot and was hired 3 days after graduation from Mizzou working at NBC in Buffalo. It's about opportunity. To Jake. Jake was a 16-year-old, white, affluent student, wealthy background, silver spoon in his mouth. However, he had an uncle who was part of a group that was securing money and going over to Haiti to build new schools for them. And he invited Jake to bring a camera and go along with him. So Jake walks through my office, Mr. Goble, can I take a camera to Haiti? And I just kind of looked at him. He's expecting no. And I said, well, of course you can. But I go, well, hold on, let's write up a contract. So when you lose this and when it breaks, you will pay for it. He's like, yeah, no problem. So he went to Haiti. Jake spent the next 7 months of his life editing a 30-minute documentary on the building of this school and the people that were a part of it. And we were getting ready to release it. This is right at the end of 2009. 2010, January rolls around, and the major earthquakes of Haiti hit, knocking down the schools in the village that he profiled. So what did Jake want to do? Jake decided to release it to the community. All funds would go to Haiti relief. He raised over $5,000 in one night and decided he wanted to travel the world now and do documentaries. And he is also editing film trailers and commercials in Hollywood. To my most recent, Lillian. Lillian won the National Scholastic Press Association Award this year, our very first one. And Lillian has been a star. Lillian will be going to Arizona State University Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, my very first student to go there. And in fact, since her sophomore year, Lillian has been working for HEC TV on their Explore program as an on-air host and field reporter, because professional opportunity is what she wants, so that's what I had to go out and get for her. Some of the other things I wanted to talk about today is that not only the success stories, because you all have them. We all have them. And I would love to hear what yours are as well. The reality is what we try to do with broadcast multimedia, at least in our program, is provide authentic learning opportunities. And sometimes those opportunities are thrust onto us, as they were in August, this past August, when Michael Brown was shot and killed in Ferguson, Missouri, about 10 miles away from our school. And I had two African American students who were struggling in my program, and they said, we can attach ourselves to this. We would like to cover this story. Superintendent and parents said, no way. No way are you going down to those riots. That's not happening. So I contacted the SPLC, built some parameters, and they walked in on the morning of the funeral, and they said, we want to take a camera. We're going. I said, good luck. I'm with you. Call me if you need me. So they were within the throngs of every national and international media group. That's their photo right there, in the midst of all of it. But they were telling the stories that were going untold. The sensationalism surrounding that story, we let CNN and Fox and everybody else tell it. They were talking about the people that were impacted in that community in St. Louis. To Lillian and Samantha working for Fox 2 and HEC TV. And HEC TV allowing an Emmy Award-winning director an assistant director job to my student. Or allowing our students to be live camera operators during their show of Explore. Or actually being on air for their program, which has 600,000 subscribers on iTunes U. That's authentic learning. I can't draw that up in my classroom. To partnerships with our local NBC affiliate. We work with a city school, partnering them with our county, and they get to tour the studio and meet the newsmakers of our city. To conference media teams. We've worked at educational different technology conferences, producing 10 to 15 videos over the course of 3 days, interviewing the keynote speakers, the featured speakers, blogging, tweeting, producing videos, and inviting our fourth graders along so they can mentor and teach the next up-and-coming kids for our program. to now mobile journalism. That's the next great thing. And showing them how to write, shoot, edit, and publish all on an iPad without any accessory. I love this quote because it's true. We all have opportunity come to us every single day. What do we do with it? What do your students do with it? I say kick that bitch down and smile and introduce yourself. So I have an opportunity for you and a challenge. Now, I know, and many of you might feel the same way, especially with broadcasts, is sometimes we feel like the redheaded stepchild and that students and staff in our building may not watch our work. Sometimes we are more respected outside of our building than we are inside the building. That's a life lesson I teach my students as well. To be proud of your work first, even if others don't appreciate it. Take pride in it and own it. We can't control whatever happens next. However, I can control not to choose and expend energy negatively and on the naysayers and on the disapproval. I choose to celebrate my students and those who value this form of learning. So I have an opportunity and challenge for you. Here are my challenges for you. Number one, look to what you are afraid of to learn where you can grow. Because it is in those moments where we are weak, if we try to improve ourselves, where we'll see the greatest accomplishments. Take risks. I've learned this lesson from Michael Hernandez. Be genuine and courageous and take a risk. Allow your students to take a risk, to take a camera out of the country, to take a camera into places they have no business being, but they want real journalism. Share your knowledge with whomever will listen. Because through sharing what you know, I will learn something. And I want to learn from you. So share what you know and find the vehicles you can do that. And remember, above all, it's the students who make us look good. And as Coach will testify to, you know, I'm a coach as well. We're real good when we have good players. I didn't change my coaching this year now because we're not very good. It's the players who make you look good. It's the students who make you look good. And then I challenge you to go all in. Go all in on video. As scary as it might be, leave the green screen away. You don't need it. Find whatever camera you have that shoots video and go all in, because it's the industry standard. And our kids know how to do it all. And my weakness is in print. And I can promise you that I'm doing everything I can to improve upon that for my kids' sake. Ultimately, own your awesomeness. Own it. Celebrate who you are. Celebrate your students. And celebrate what you do every day and never minimize it. Don't ever minimize what you do. It's okay to be humble, but what we do is valuable and it's important. And that should never be minimized. Because around the bend, even in unseen regions arising from uncertainty, there are some amazing surprises, some awesome twists, and spellbinding opportunities about to emerge that we might not even begin to imagine. And it will be the impact of those opportunities which could be life-changing, as they have been for me. Thank you very much for this award.
I love you, brother. Thank you. Love you, too.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you.